Subway Surfers, Angry Birds and Temple Run are some of the best mobile games that has ever been produced. Okay, this might be a harsh statement, but it is somewhat true. These games from early 2012 are still, even to this day, some of the most popular games on App Store and Google Play. So why is that? It's because new mobile games are bad. Really, really bad. Everything looks uninspired, cheap, boring, and it's just there to bring in tons of money. And the reason we ended up in this situation is because of one person.
Rid of all these buttons and just make a giant screen. A giant screen.
Before Steve Jobs even presented the iPhone, phones in general had very distinct looks. Of course, we had the indestructible Nokia 3310, but we could also see flip phones, phones with bendable keyboards, and styluses. A standard what a phone would look like wasn't set, so companies were experimenting a lot, basically throwing things at the wall, hoping that something would stick. And the thing that stuck was, of course, the iPhone. The iPhone opened a whole new world because of one feature, the touchscreen. Beforehand, there were of course games on these old phones, but they rarely used any other buttons than the directional pad. But now you're able to tap, swipe, and use multiple fingers at the same time because of the touchscreen. And for games, these new features give developers a chance to use new controls that no one's ever seen before. Thus they produced Angry Birds. Now, if you missed the Angry Birds hype train, I feel bad for you. Angry Birds was such a huge deal during this time. For reference, Angry Birds' peak popularity was as popular as Ariana Grande's peak popularity, according to Google Trends. Back in 2011, everyone that's heard of the App Store had Angry Birds on their phone, for a good reason. The game had good variation in level designs, different birds with varying abilities, and most of all, it was simple and intuitive to play. All you had to do was tap the slingshot, pull back and let go, which made a lot of sense. That is how we use a slingshot in real life. The first mobile games, no actually the first games in general, built a lot on intuition. Just look at Pong, Pac-Man, Space Invaders. If you watch someone play these games for just a minute, I am 99% sure that you can play these games afterwards. And the same goes for every mobile game at this time. In Fruit Ninja, you're supposed to slice fruit and avoid bombs. And in Jeopardy Joyride, you tap to fly up and let go to fall down. And you're supposed to avoid the obstacles. Both are quite intuitive, right? Most of these games make money by having two different versions you can download. A light version and a full version. The light version was always free and contained less content. This could be less levels, less game modes, less items. See it almost as a demo. Hey, if you're interested in buying our product, try a free sample first. If you like it, well, they can buy the whole thing. I feel like this is a quite fair and ethical deal from these companies. If you think the game is good, well, then you want to support the creators so they can create more content for you. Almost like subscribing to someone's YouTube channel, but what I know. Anyways, this model worked well for a long while. Games will always have two different versions you can download. The market was blooming until a small little game you might have heard of came around.
Being vulnerable and having compassion is one of the greatest takeaways I can share with all of you.
Clash of Clans is the goat of mobile gaming. You know how I mentioned how huge Angry Birds were? Well, Clash of Clans threw Angry Birds out of the window. In this game, you build up your own base using gold and elixir, which you gain from attacking other players. But what made this game so huge was competition between friends. In Clash of Clans, there's obviously clans. You will create a clan with all of your friends, and there you can see everyone's bases and how many trophies everyone had. The trophies were the intended competition by the developers, which you gained by successfully attacking someone. But it turned out that no one cared about trophies. The most important thing was the level of everyone's town hall. The town hall in this game acts like a choke point. In order to upgrade any other building further, you must upgrade your town hall first. So it was a good measurement to quickly see how good a player was at the game. Like any other building, you use gold to upgrade your town hall, which you gain by attacking other players. But there is actually one other way to gain gold, through microtransactions. Clash of Clans have another in-game currency called gems, which you get small amounts by playing the game normally, but if you need a lot, you have to buy some. And gems act like in-game steroids. It makes you train your armies faster, speeds up upgrades, could protect you from getting raided, the list just goes on. Gems made it so much easier to reach a higher town hall than your friends by just paying a little bit of extra money. But let's be real, who would actually pay some extra money to have a higher number than their friends? In the gaming market, mobile gaming has more than 50% market share. It actually has more than both PC and consoles combined. So when everyone's arguing about the console wars, deciding what is the best platform, mobile gaming is just chilling on top, not moving an inch. So what is mobile gaming doing to bring in so much money? Well, it's their core design. This is a video of 2016 where CEO of a mobile games company talks about how you, the user, are being exploited for money.
Be slightly shocked by all the tricks I have listed here, but I'll leave the morality of it out of the talk. We can discuss it if we have time later. State, anchoring, availability, loss aversion, offers and scarcity.
He just keeps on mentioning trick after trick that mobile games does to make you spend money. So there's no wonder why game studios like Nintendo or Blizzard are creating mobile games to cash in on some extra money. For a while there were even articles coming out about this all the time. The game console is dead. But there is actually one more important note that we haven't covered yet. Whales. The reason these games make so much money is because of so-called whales. A whale is a person that spends a little bit too much money on mobile games, and the most prominent is Genshin Impact. So let's take a look at how Genshin Impact makes you or whales spend a little bit too much money on their game. So in Genshin Impact, you can make wishes which grants you new items and characters totally randomly. See it almost like a Pokemon card pack. You get a certain amount of cards, but you don't know which ones you'll get. This means that if I want to get this character from a wish, but I got this character, I have to continue making wishes until I get the character I wanted. But let's say after a bunch of wishes that I got the character I wanted, then I'd also need a weapon. I roll for a weapon, but of course I don't get one that works well with my character. So I continue rolling until I get the weapon I wanted. But then when I get my weapon, there's of course different tiers of weapons. I got a 3-star, but of course I wanted a 5-star. So I continue making wishes. So once I finally have my character and my weapon, I also need to get an artifact, which takes even more time. You kinda get where I'm going with this. Since everything's random, these games are designed to drain your bank account. And this is why we see article of people going broke from these games. Because they always have to have the best items, which is impossible to get. But Leo, I played games without microtransactions. They are great. Well, the mobile gaming market actually consists of two different types of games. There are the microtransaction games and the advertisement games. Nowadays, when you download a mobile game, you can't really do any action without first watching an ad. I for instance downloaded this game during Christmas called Cookie Madness, and now every time I log in, I get rewards, limited time offers, and once I try to play a level, I must first watch a 30-second ad. I mean, imagine starting a new world in Minecraft and having to watch a 30-second ad of a person that can't do math. I mean, why would you pick that? I don't understand how this is socially acceptable. If Minecraft would come out and say they will incorporate ads every time you boot up a world, then everyone would boycott that game. But since this happens on a mobile game, it is different. This is the current sad state of mobile gaming, and it makes sense where we are in this situation. Picture this, you and a small team of people are making a mobile game. You build an interesting story, the game has beautiful visuals, and finally, after months of work, you upload it to the App Store and you get one download. This is what happens to a lot of indie developers. Instead of risking it all to create a masterpiece, it is so much safer to develop 20 bad games during the same time because one of them might succeed. However, this doesn't really work on PC and console because game studios are quite established. If I would say Blizzard, Riot, EA, you'll most likely recognize one of these game studios. But on mobile gaming side, the only one you've probably heard of is Supercell, most because they've just become a meme. So since most mobile game companies are nobodies in the industry, you can take the risk of producing bad games, because no one will notice it. But if Supercell released a new game that flopped, there will be a lot of headlines about it. But it doesn't have to be like this. Look at Nintendo Switch for instance, the third most sold console on the planet, which also happens to be a handheld, just like your phone. This shows that there is a market for on-the-go gaming, and as we mentioned earlier, Nintendo's already tapped into this market. By 2022, they had a total of 800 million downloads on the mobile games, and Wild Rift had 111 million downloads. So we might see a change in the future, but for the time being, we're stuck with the things that we have. So thank you for watching. I want to hear your takes down below if you agree or disagree about anything. Otherwise, this is all I have to say. So, Leo, out. Whales.